is back, and it's an all Arizona Cardinals show. Why I don't like the discourse about Kyler Murray's interception, and why I thought the defense might have another steal, and it's not Will Johnson or Walter Nolan. Let's talk about it all next.
The Ben Garcia show. Yeah. Best show in the land. Yup. Listen. Come and get your information from Ben Garcia. Get the latest on your quarterback, running backs, and receivers. Tune in, so any other show you don't need him. Any news that he giving out, please just believe him. Giving out the latest prediction and top-notch analysis. Wanna hear the truth, better have thick skin like callus. The latest move that your team just made can be damaging. The dudes ain't speaking no facts, they just be rambling. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. Yeah. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. The Ben Garcia show.
What is up, guys? Welcome in to yet another edition of the Ben Garcia show. There is so many things to get into on this football Monday. The preseason is over, and the Arizona Cardinals looked, for the most part, really, really good. It was an A-plus performance from all things but one, not necessarily small hiccup from the quarterback Kyler Murray. But before we get there, do me a favor, hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe button. We are closing in on another milestone in 4,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I'm really trying to get to that before the NFL season officially kicks off. So do me a favor, if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, like, share, and if you so well inclined to do, tell a friend about the Ben Garcia show. Also, follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia show. I want you guys to know that I'm still trying to put together that fantasy football league that I want to play with my subscribers, with my followers, with my listeners of the Ben Garcia show. So if you are interested in that, it will be a half-point PPR league. Hit me up in a DM on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, at Ben Garcia show, and say, hey, save me a spot in there. All right. There is a lot to get into this morning because it is a football Monday. It is a Monday after a Cardinals game. And for those that don't know, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we are live at 7 a.m., 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we will be talking a lot of Arizona Cardinals. It is going to dominate this show 85% from now all the way until February. I give you guys what you want. The Cardinals are hot right now. We are talking about that. So, Saturday, for the most part, for those of you who don't know, and I don't know why you would know this, but Saturday is my wife's birthday. So, I watched the first 3 quarters of the Cardinals game, and then we went out and did some stuff with her. And so, I got, obviously, the most part of it, and then I went back and watched that fourth quarter, went back and watched the highlights as a whole again. And everything was awesome. The Cardinals looked really special in their first game. There was a hiccup or two on special teams. That's the kind of stuff that I think just happens when you're not getting hit. Now that they've taken a couple of blows, they remember what it felt like. They are understanding now, okay, got to hold on to the ball a little bit tighter. But that didn't dominate as it probably should have Saturday night. Kyler Murray threw a horrendous, atrocious interception. And my guy Keegan in the chat has said something that I'm going to respond to in just a second here. And there has been some discourse around Kyler Murray's interception. And to my guy Keegan's point, he went 7 for 8. He looked good. Offense was flowing. It wasn't a great moment. But looked like the defender floated back randomly. It was a no look, super unlucky. It was preseason. People need to chill. Okay. Let's respond to that. My guy Keegan in the chat. Makes a lot of sense, right? Preseason. Not a big deal. He could have threw 3 interceptions and, it's preseason. No big deal, right? This is why the Kyler Murray interception means a whole heck of a lot more than my guy Keegan in the chat is giving it. And Keegan is entitled to his own opinion. He's allowed to have his own opinion. Just because I have a microphone doesn't mean mine matters more. But here's mine. If Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Matthew Stafford, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, one of those, even Brock Purdy to an extent, if they made that throw, you would have said to yourself, yeah, it was a boneheaded move. It's not a characteristic of those guys. We know that it is likely a statistical anomaly. For Kyler, I don't know about you, but I watched post-bye week last season. Kyler Murray was awful. And part of him being awful was he was a turnover machine. And not only was he a turnover machine, it was interceptions that looked far too familiar to Saturday night's interception against the Kansas City Chiefs. He was throwing it directly to the other team. We're not really sure what he was looking at. And immediately I go back to both Seattle games where Kyler Murray threw atrocious interceptions in both games. One of them to Kobe Bryant that wasn't even close. He threw a bad interception in the Panthers game, another atrocious one in the Patriots game, but that one got called back due to a phantom like face mask call or something. And in the Vikings game, I was at that one. Another 2 atrocious interceptions. This matters for Kyler because this is now a trend, a characteristic, a pattern of Kyler. He has thrown the ball to the other team like he didn't see that defender there far too many times. Let's just say to my guy Keegan's point in the chat that it was random. He overfloated it. He did whatever. He didn't see the guy there. Let's just say that's the case. Kyler is in no position to be practicing no-look passes. He's not Matthew Stafford. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Joe Burrow. You don't get the luxury of doing that. And then when it doesn't work out, we say, well, I mean, he's hit a lot of those before. Kyler hasn't done that. And so the reason why I'm not talking about the 7 for 8, 96 yards, which, to be fair, he looked really good. And in Kyler Murray's defense, he tends to spiral. So when he throws a bad interception, he tries to make up for it and throws another one. We saw that in the Seattle Seahawks game at home last year, where he threw on back-to-back drives, bad interceptions. Kyler came back and looked really good. To be fair, that was also the second and third stringers of the Kansas City Chiefs, so he doesn't get full credit for that. But he did bounce back. And my guy Aaron in the chat, once I found out it was a no-look pass, I was even more furious. To my point, exactly. Kyler does not get the luxury of saying, well, I was just trying out something new. How about you get down the basics first? And then what frustrated me even more, and I wish I had a show by then, but unfortunately, like it's just me. I can't just go live whenever. I got to plan this stuff out. You know, you're looking at the writer, director, script writer, social media editor, all this stuff, right? I do everything. It's hard for me just to go live sometimes. I have to plan things out. I don't have a whole team behind me. Kyler said to the media a whole lot of words trying to explain the interception, and none of them made any sense. He even said to himself, it's kind of hard to explain. No, it's not. You did not see the player there. And it's what goes against Kyler Murray. Because oftentimes people talk about his height. Can he see over the offensive lineman? Can he see downfield? I think that is largely nothing. But I do think at times it can hinder him. Otherwise, everyone would draft 5'10 guys with the attributes of Kyler Murray. It's going to hinder him. There on that play, it looked like a cover 2, if I'm not mistaken, if I have my coverages right. There was a player in the curl flat, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, there's a player in the hard flat, and his job was to get the tight end that was to the far side of the left side of the field. And there was a safety or a linebacker, I guess it was, that was on a hook zone behind that cornerback. And because at times they were almost mirroring each other, parallel to each other, I don't think Kyler Murray, once the cornerback went after him to pressure him a little bit, saw the other player there, and he threw it. Now, let's say Kyler Murray did see the guy and it was just a bad pass. That's even worse. Because, I mean, guys, I'm not a quarterback, right? I wasn't a quarterback in high school. If you are going to throw that ball, it's totally fair. Throwing the ball was not the issue. It has to be thrown towards the pylon, where it is Marvin Harrison Jr.'s ball or it's far out of bounds. You got to miss that out of bounds because you live to see another down. You cannot, guys. You cannot be the guy who's crippling the team in the red zone. My guy in the chat, Keegan, I want to give him a chance to defend himself. He threw less interceptions than Jordan Love, Stroud, Mahomes, Darnold, Mahomes. He said Mahomes twice. Darnold, Baker, Bo Nix, Geno, and Brock Purdy. He did have an interception off of McBride's helmet, 2 fourth-quarter heaves. Listen, man, that's all great. Jordan Love has won a playoff game. CJ Stroud has won a playoff game. Mahomes has won a Super Bowl. Darnold hasn't won a playoff game, but I think Kyler Murray's better than Darnold. He said Darnold twice. Baker Mayfield won a playoff game. Bo Nix has already been to the playoffs in his first year. Geno Smith and Brock Purdy, are we really putting him in those conversations? Do you want to hold him to a higher standard or not? That's the point. Do you want to hold Kyler Murray to a higher standard or not? Everyone who is defending the interception, and that's a lot of other media outlets too. You're not getting that here. Yes or no, have you seen Kyler Murray throw that ball before directly to the other team? The answer is yes. And it is a trend. It is a pattern. And the reason why we have to be hard on him right now is because we cannot collectively give him a pass and say, well, it is just preseason. If it was just preseason, then why even play them? The point is to practice to get better. So what I'm going to do is hold him to a higher standard. He has to know this is a make or break year. I promise you, I will be in or out on Kyler Murray by the end of this year. I will not sit on a fence anymore. Right now, I'm still in. I think you can win a Super Bowl with Kyler. But if that trend continues, throwing bad interceptions directly to the other team in the red zone, no less, I cannot continue to support Kyler. And so what you're going to get here is pure authenticity. You can defend that. You have every right to. But it was a bad throw, and I've seen it far too often, and it cannot continue to happen. And if it continues to happen, no shot this team's a playoff team. Absolutely no shot. And I know oftentimes I come off as a Kyler Murray hater because I think people are just stupid. Kyler Murray has my full support, mostly because my life gets 10 times better if Kyler Murray is good. I make more money, more people watch my stuff. I don't have to work 5 jobs. I want Kyler Murray to be great. It makes my life a whole heck of a lot more easier. But I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I think he's awesome and it doesn't matter, because it does. I've seen it far too often. It cannot continue to happen. As far as the rest of the team, as I write this down, because like I said, I'm the script writer too, and I got to know where to end when I put this stuff out. However, let's go to the defensive side of the ball. What the? My wife just alerted me to something I did not mean to. That was weird. I don't know how that happened, but whatever. Anyways, moving on. So from the defensive side of the ball, the Arizona Cardinals looked really good. There was that first instance where Kyler Murray, where the defense looked bad because because Greg Dortch fumbled the ball on the kickoff return, and it didn't look great. And the defense came out in the field and immediately was put in a god-awful position. And so you say to yourself, immediately, the defense, oh man, it's a little worrisome. What are they doing? How are they going to stop teams? They kind of ran the ball down the defense's throat. And ultimately, I had a couple of takes from that as well. There's a difference between Kyler Murray's interception in the preseason and the defense getting destroyed in the preseason. In that first, series there. Ultimately, it doesn't matter because they're put in a bad position. Will Johnson had a pass interference call that I didn't think was great. It looked like it was it looked like, something in college where you get away with. In the NFL, you just don't. And we're also talking about the defensive side after that, right? I thought Jordan Birch and the pass rush was awesome. I wanted to hit on that first series really quickly because they did kind of get bullied, but they were also put on the 13-yard line. It was rough, right? However, we're talking about the defensive side after that. Throughout the rest of the defensive performance, I thought they were really good. The pass rush showed me with Darius Robinson, who was moving dudes around, Jordan Birch, who was moving dudes around, that they are going to be ready to take themselves to the bottom half all the way to the right in the middle pack of the NFL. And that's exactly where the Arizona Cardinals need to be. If they are a team that is rushing the passer that effectively on the defensive side, they're going to be a top 15 defense, top 10 defense upside. I thought the cornerbacks looked really good. Max Melton, Garrett Williams, who for some reason Garrett Williams didn't have a great PFF grade, but I thought he looked good. Will Johnson, he just didn't look lost. One of the reasons when you bring up players in preseason, it's probably for a good thing if they didn't have a huge night. And I think it says a lot on that first drive that we mentioned before that I'm kind of going back and forth on, that when Mahomes threw that fade route, back shoulder route to, I don't even know who the receiver was. I think his name was Browning. I think it says something that the Chiefs threw it to Max Melton's side and not Will Johnson's side. He's a 6'2 player, 200 pounds, has some of the physical attributes of Jalen Ramsey, I think. And the Chiefs said, we're good. Let's go attack Max Melton. And to Max Melton's defense, I don't think it was a terrible look for Max Melton. It was a beautifully thrown ball. And so the Arizona Cardinals defensively, I thought really good from a secondary position. But going back to the pass rush, the Cardinals now have a pass rush that I think is going to be really, really good this season. I think with Nick Rawless, Jonathan Gannon, and weaponizing them with just solid pass rusher after solid pass rusher with real depth, you get Walter Nolan into the fold, Calais Campbell, a Josh Sweat, both guys who didn't play, Walter Nolan either. You're talking about not just a very deep off defensive line, but a very good defensive line as well. I really think this team has improved significantly on the defensive end, as well as moving back over to the offensive position. Trey Benson is warning all fantasy football owners, don't draft James Conner, because they have gone from RB1 or James Conner has gone from RB1 to RB1.5, because I think that's what both guys are going to be. It is going to go from it's going to go from a 90-10 backfield to, I think, a 55-45 backfield this year. Trey Benson was hitting the holes with some real speed. It felt like the game started to click for him a little bit. And that change of pace back, similar to what Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are with the Detroit Lions, I think that's what the Arizona Cardinals are trying to emulate. And now you're talking about another weapon for Kyler. If Trey Benson can be as good as Amari DiMercato in pass protection, then Trey Benson is going to get a lot of leeway on third down plays, because he needs to be able to pick up blitzes, but also catch the ball out of the backfield. We know he can do the latter of the two, but the first thing was a bit concerning, at least for Kyler. At least for Trey Benson early in that. So when it comes to the Arizona Cardinals, I think running the ball as well as defensively were really good spots for them. I also want to talk about Drew Petzing a little bit, who I thought had a really good day as well. I thought the offense was creative. I thought they threw the ball downfield. I thought part of Kyler Murray's success being 7 for 8, 96 yards was Drew Petzing also lubricating that a little bit, finding guys open, and starting to hit all the right buttons. Kyler hit Marvin Harrison Jr. in the middle of the field, perfectly in between two guys. It's one of the good things about Kyler. Also, it's one of the good things about Kyler that he's insanely accurate. I think he's got one of the best deep balls in the league. And then on an out-breaking route, almost like a really deep 15-yard out route, Trey McBride was wide open. He looked awesome. And I want to end the show, as I keep going back and forth remembering these things, on Jordan Burch. I mentioned him a little bit ago. The Arizona Cardinals might have gotten another steal in the third round. Jordan Burch was moving dudes around in the preseason. Granted, it's preseason, second, third stringers. And I don't know how much real leeway he's going to get in a starting position. But I was watching Jordan Burch intensely. I was watching Isaiah Adams, Jonah Williams, all these guys intensely. Jordan Burch was moving the backups of the Kansas City Chiefs around. You know, he's not really one of your typical speed rushers. He's more of a power rush, bull rush kind of guy. And he showed the strength and athleticism. He had 2 sacks in this game, and both got nullified because of defensive penalties. If you're talking about another weapon on the edge for the Arizona Cardinals, that is just more depth. And you're not relying on Zaven Collins and Baron Browning so much. So Jordan Burch looked phenomenal. And you're talking about him, that third-round pick where the Cardinals have had some issues with over the past couple of years with Elijah Jones, Tip Reinman. They might have found something with Jordan Burch. They might have found something in Jordan Burch from Oregon who can push dudes out of the way. And so, with all that being said, the Cardinals might have found another guy. I apologize, guys. My phone started ringing there for a second. And then finally, the offensive line. I know I wanted to end on Jordan Burch, but I'm lying. I want to get to this too before I end the stream. The offensive line, I talked about. I felt so vindicated over that game because I've been telling you guys about Xavier Weaver for 2 years now, and I thought he looked really good again. The offensive line, I felt very vindicated on the Will Hernandez take that I had on Friday. And that is that the offensive line on its own looks fine, right? I have my concerns about Jonah Williams, who I'll get to in just a second. But Will Hernandez was signed for the depth. He's not signed to be the starter because Isaiah Adams looked great and the backups did not look very good. I said on Friday, this is Isaiah Adams' job to lose. But the backups don't look great. And now with John Gaines coming back, Will Hernandez, Kelvin Beachum, you're starting to feel a little bit better about that depth for the Arizona Cardinals. And so I think I feel vindicated in that as well, that Will Hernandez is not here to be the starter. He's here to be a very capable backup. As well as, I want to close the show now with the right tackle position in Jonah Williams. I've been very concerned over the past couple weeks over Jonah Williams. So much so that it feels like other people started to steal my take on that. However, I was watching him and Isaiah Adams very intensely. Jonah Williams looked good. He didn't look outstanding. He didn't look like he was moving dudes around, but he looked pretty good. And that is a good Chiefs front seven that, didn't have Chris Jones and, was lacking some of their best players. But, the Bills didn't have an outstanding pass rush last year. It was pretty good, but he was getting pushed around against the Buffalo Bills. And so it was a good start for Jonah Williams on Saturday to be able to look the part. And I thought he looked really, really good. And not outstanding, not phenomenal, but just a solid right tackle. So a lot of good things to be happy about for the Arizona Cardinals in their first preseason game. My guy Chill Peasy in the chat. Appreciate the donation, brother. It was big. It was a big day for the Cardinals on Saturday. I thought they looked really good outside of that Kyler Murray interception, and that's what's going to continue to dominate the conversation. I do feel like the Cardinal starters should play another game, and I think this time it should be, again, 2 series, send Kyler Murray out there and play clean football. Ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what matters. Play clean football, look the part, look good doing it, and the Cardinals should be just fine going in to week 1 against the New Orleans Saints. I don't really want to see them play in week 3, but the second game, I want to see the Cardinal starters play again, and we're going to get a heavy dosage of that this week in joint practices with the Denver Broncos. And I'm really excited to see what the Cardinals look there too. Let's see if Kyler Murray can redeem himself a little bit. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys tuning into the show. I'm here Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 a.m., 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For all of you guys in the chat, do me a favor. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the show. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. Remember, I am starting a fantasy football league with my subscribers, my listeners, my viewers of the Ben Garcia Show. If you are interested in being in that, it's going to be a half-point PPR league. Maybe there's some money involved. We'll figure that out later. Hit me up in a DM on any social media platform, at Ben Garcia Show, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, at Ben Garcia Show. Say you want to play. I'll save you a spot. We've got a few spots available, but appreciate you guys being here on this edition of the Ben Garcia Show. And I will see you guys on Wednesday at 7 a.m., where we'll talk some joint practices, previewing the next preseason game, and more, always, Kyler Murray. I will talk to you guys on Wednesday.